No intro. This is Fly Like an Eagle podcast, live from my office, and Mac is live from his whatever. No song this week. A little bit of technical glitches with Zach's computer. He's going to try to get it up for the phone calls. If not, it'll be a basic show, taking your comments on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you guys may be. We're here to talk about the week 10 game against the Denver Broncos at Mile High Stadium. And it should be, I'm not going to say a good one, but an interesting game to watch, especially because the Broncos lit up the Dallas Cowboys last week, who I thought were Super Bowl contenders to literally win it all, and then they just lay an egg. And then obviously we have our team where we lose awful to the Los Angeles Chargers. We could not stop Justin Herbert to save our lives, and they really didn't have to run the ball at all. So with that said, going into this game, Teddy Bridgewater doesn't scare me, even though he's leading the league in passing rating or he's top 4 or 5, whatever. But I don't trust this defense, Zach. I really don't. And honestly, I don't have much more to say when it comes to this defense because this defense is one of the worst defenses in Philadelphia Eagle history. Jonathan Gannon was labeled an offensive coach, a defensive coach, and a future head coach in this league. And right now, I could see him getting fired mid-season. So I'm going to bring you in. Zach, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Having a little technical difficulties over here. Kyle, you keep freezing on me. But, yeah, this is going to be one hell of a game because if Teddy Bridgewater does one thing elite, that's his accurate passing. And with Jonathan Gannon's defense, I'm not quite ready to blame everything on him, although there are some things that he could mix up to help the defense out a little bit because our back end sucks. Our front line isn't getting the pressure it needs to. And guys like Teddy Bridgewater, we've seen it with Derek Carr a couple of weeks ago, just pick you apart. And even with Justin Herbert's one of those guys that want to throw deep all the time, but going into the game against the Philadelphia Eagles defense, you take what is given to you. And as long as you're taking those underneaths and everything, you're going to move the ball methodically. It might be 9, 10, 11, 12 play drives, but they're moving the ball methodically. They're controlling the clock, and they're putting points on the board unlike the Philadelphia Eagles, so that's how it goes right now.
Exactly. My buddy's actually going to this game in good old Denver. He's probably going to get high as a Christmas tree, or light up like a Christmas tree when he gets stoned. That's probably going to be the best part of that trip. But at the same time, it just sucks that week in and week out, us diehard Eagles fans have to watch this shit team just go on the road, fully expecting a loss, and then the inevitable happens. But sometimes it happens in heartbreaking fashion, and sometimes they just don't show up. Sometimes it looks like they're the ones getting high out there. So I don't understand the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. I wanted to title this show not Week 10. I wanted to title this show, is this really a rebuild, or does this team have no future whatsoever? Because what I've seen this year is not necessarily of a rebuilding team. It's of a, I don't know what to make of our future type of team. Because as I see it today, Howie Roseman is 110% coming back next year. Can he draft worth a lick? No, he cannot. Now, what have I been saying this full off season? I said that the position that we're in with these 3 first-round picks, a monkey could pick these picks, But Howie Roseman is so bad at his job that I fully expect him to trade away 2 of these picks for more future picks. He's that bad at his job that he doesn't know how to assess talent and realize that Kyle Hamilton is a great player and that you would need to put him on this team. He would go above and beyond, pick someone like, I don't know, Malik from Liberty with the 5th overall pick in the draft when he's projected to go top 20. So I don't really know what to think when it comes to the future of the team, and I hate talking about the future when it's week 10, but you kind of have to because it's getting to that point. We know deep down we are not making the postseason, right? This team is just not making the postseason. So now we kind of have to look towards the draft. We have to look for the future. We need to look at who's coming back. Jonathan Gannon, not coming back. Nick Sirianni, definitely coming back. He's on a 5-year deal, and it's going to be kind of tough to chew up that money. So he's definitely going to come back. But what I want to see is who we bringing back on the defense side of the ball, because Fletcher Cox looks like he's on the milk carton on his way out. You have Javon Hargraves, fucking monster. You have all these question marks at linebacker, not even question marks, guaranteed fuck ups at linebacker. So you really have to assess what you're going to do in the offseason. And right now, I don't know what to think. Zach, I really don't know. And this is exactly what I didn't want to put the predicament I didn't want to get in as an Eagles fan. Because week in and week out, I do watch these games. I've listened to the Detroit Lions game on the radio. And I watched the last one with my dad, who I haven't seen in years, which was a good time. And we're just watching the game, and last week I said on YouTube, I was like, this was the best Philadelphia Eagles performance I've seen in years. Now, I meant offensively, I meant the game plan on Nick Sirianni's behalf. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, it's different. When as a team on the defensive end, your complete percentage give up on the season is over 75%. That's horrible. That's like you're putting a JV team out there to try to stop these guys. You could literally put my high school's JV team, and they would let up the same amount of passes that this defense is letting up. And that's a huge problem. Now, am I going to blame Jonathan Gannon on everything? No, I'm not going to, because at the end of the day, the players are there to do their job. And they're not doing their jobs. It's that simple. This defense just isn't good enough, and they're getting paid way too much to fuck up. Now, Darius Slay, I'm going to give him a pass because, he's had some pretty good games this year. But he's also had some pretty average games. Everyone else, honestly, besides Javon Hargraves and Brandon Graham, because I love Brandon Graham and he's obviously injured, everyone else can go. Everyone else can get the fuck out. I don't care about anyone else on this team. Derek Barnett is a complete stiff. I love that he recovered the fumble in the Super Bowl. That's great. Get the fuck out of here now. It's just, as an Eagles team, as an Eagles fan, this is the lowest of the low of my fandom. Literally the lowest of the low. And it's week in and week out, I work my ass off. I go to my job, I come home, I work my ass off, get up the next day, go work out now. I work out for an hour a day. All right. Then I go do 10 hours on my job. I come home. I do a show. I'm exhausted. I talk about a team that has no hope for this year, not only this year, but no hope for this year and potentially for the next 5 years. And I do this not only for you guys, but I do this because I like to rant about something that's just been sitting in the back of my mind for days, weeks, months, years of how this team could get better. And I just don't fucking see it. I don't see it right now, dude. And I'm going to read some of these super chats because I really appreciate Jerry Mayo. I would draft Matt Corral with our first pick. Honestly, even if they picked him, I don't even think it would matter, dude. I really don't. And then obviously he put another one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I understand you guys aren't big fans of Miles Sanders. All right, and I'm going to stop you right there. I really appreciate the donation, but I'm going to stop you right there. Miles Sanders is a clear as day stiff. He's a stiff and a half. And the reason why I'm saying that, and I'm not a genius when it comes to assessing talent, although I proclaimed I was early in the season, I could be a GM of any team, they'd be great. I'm not an expert scout. But when you don't want to run Miles Sanders when he's healthy, and you run a guy like Jordan Howard, who's on the downswing of his career at rapid pace, something is wrong there. And it's not because Nick Sirianni doesn't know how to use Miles Sanders. Maybe he just realized in practice, and when he does give him the ball in games, that he's useless. That's why he doesn't use him. And a lot of people want to say Miles Sanders is great, this, that, he's going to be a great. Well, clearly he's not. When they want to run Boston Scott and Jordan Howard 75% of the game, and they won't give Miles Sanders 5 handoffs in the game. Clearly he's not. And that's just my take on it, but I really appreciate the donation. Zach.
All right, so I do like Miles Sanders. I'm a Miles Sanders fan. I think he's one of the guys.
Why?
I think because when he does get the ball in his hands, he can be explosive. We don't see it consistently enough. He doesn't fall forward consistent enough for me. If he could get those 3 yards plus every single carry, and I'm not saying average 3 yards. I'm saying on first down, when there's nothing there, there's no hole. If he could still continue to get those 3 yards plus, like you see with Jordan Howard, and even with Boston Scott, as tiny as he is, he keeps them legs turning, and he gets those 3 yards, making it 2nd and 7, which opens up the playbook. That's something you don't see from a consistent basis from Miles Sanders. But the more you touch the ball, the more opportunities you have to break one deep. And we've seen that happen how many times where, take the Pittsburgh game, what was it, last year or 2 years ago, where he had that huge 80-yard run and he ran for over 100 and something yards. Most of it was off that big run. But that's what happens when you get it in your playmaker's hands. If you give him the ball 20 times, one of those could be a big play like that. And that's just something that Nick Sirianni obviously doesn't want to do.
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, we've seen Miles Sanders in the past. He breaks off big plays for touchdowns like 3 times a year for 70 yards apiece. But consistently, I don't even think he could get over 3 yards consistently. That's the problem I have with Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is poised to be the next Saquon Barkley, according to the fan base. And he's been everything but. He's been like a lower tier. He's a decent running back that I don't really talk about anymore. He's been a decent tier, maybe. Possibly that guy from the Bears from 2011, Matt Forte. He's been a decent Matt Forte. That's who he's been, And I don't know if I could deal with it anymore. I'd rather just cut him, move on, and go with what we have, because like I said before, I don't see where this team is going. And why would you bring someone that doesn't necessarily work out in this offense with you in the future? I'd rather see him succeed somewhere else, especially when he's not that good with us to begin with. So I've never been sold on Miles Sanders, probably never will be. And I'm done with the experiments on this team. It's not just Miles Sanders. I'm done with the J-Jaw experiment. He could go. I'm done. I'm almost done with the Jalen Reagor experiment, to be completely honest with you, because as much as I wanted this guy in the draft, going one catch for -6 yards last week just goes to show me that it's not only Jalen Hurts sucking, but you cannot get open for your life, dude. Like, you see Devonta Smith doing his best to get open every single play, but Jalen Reagor, he's been a complete failure, and he's making me eat my words, which I hate doing. I hate eating my words. But goddamn, he's been fucking awful this year. Jalen Reagor has been terrible this year. And it just makes me sick to my stomach when I hate for these guys, when I hype these guys up and they don't perform. It's not just me talking shit about Miles Sanders. I'm talking about one of my own picks that I actually loved in the draft. This guy's been horrible, like terrible. And if you're going to be a real Eagles fan, you need to address every situation, not just the ones that you've been biased about. You got to address everything, and he's not been good. Like, Reagor's been a complete liability to this team, to be completely honest with you. And I'm just so sick and tired of, someone like Howie Roseman, going for the smartest guy in the room routine. Now, I like the Jalen Reagor pick. I did. But as a GM, all right, you got to think of it this way, Zach. As a GM, you're not listening to the fans. You're going with your own pick. Would you rather go with a guy from LSU who's in one of the most explosive offenses in NCAA history across from Jamar Chase? Would you rather go with him, or would you rather go with a wide receiver that had one of the worst quarterbacks of all time throw his way at a school that's never even talked
about? So I think it comes down to Howie. He's been getting inside his own head when it comes to wide receivers. He goes for the wide receivers in college that have all the numbers, the wide receivers that, like Jalen Reagor, they didn't put up the numbers but could be explosive at the next level. He needs to find somewhere in between with a safe pick wide receiver, because you saw with J-Jaws, he was one of the most, prolific wide receivers in Stanford history, and then he comes to the NFL, and what has he been? Nothing. Then he's like, all right, let me go with Jalen Reagor, who doesn't necessarily put up the numbers, but he has the potential at the NFL level. Obviously, that hasn't panned out either. He needs to find something in the middle. Now, I know we would have liked to see more from a guy like J-Matt, who was a first-round pick out of Vanderbilt. Never had a 1,000-yard season with the Philadelphia Eagles, but he was very consistent, 800, 900 yards. If he was a second or third-round pick, we'd absolutely love J-Matt. But since he was a first-round pick, some people hammer him a little more. But that's what we need to find, that consistent wide receiver outside of Devonta Smith, because I do think he's primed for some good things.
Right. I mean, Devonta Smith looks like a stud. I mean, last week I was a little bit underwhelmed by him because I thought he was fading away, but the guy gets open every play. That's not his fault. And I think it's like Jalen Hurts, I look at him as a player. The guy, he's awful. Jalen Hurts is awful, dude. Like, I don't even care if he makes decent plays at times with his legs. I don't care if he makes decent plays, like slant plays into the end zone. I just don't care. Consistently, he's just awful. He's just an awful football player. And what scares me is I could actually see the front office going another year with him. And that's why I'm like so down in the dumps right now. Because number one, I'm exhausted. I'll admit that to the crowd right now. I'm exhausted. I woke up at 7:30 a.m. this morning, went to the gym, had a killer workout, worked for 10 hours. Then I had to wait for the show. Now we're doing it. I'm having a great time doing the show, by the way. But it's like, when you think about this, plus the Eagles, plus them having no future, plus thinking that Jalen Hurts is going to be the quarterback here next year, more than likely because the two stooges in the fucking front office are running the show, how could you be up for this team for the future? Like, how? It's impossible. It's just impossible. Like, I loathe watching this team on Sunday. I literally loathe it. Like, I don't even want to watch, but I have to watch because I have a show to run. I would rather work. I genuinely would, because I cannot stand watching the same incompetence week in and week out. And I will give credit to Nick Sirianni like I did last week. I thought Nick Sirianni ran a great game plan for what he has at quarterback. He ran the ball 10 times as more as he did throw the ball with Jalen Hurts because he realizes Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. So that was great on his part. But the problem I have is, if they do decide to go with Jalen Hurts next year, Nick Sirianni is being set up to fail. Like, how can you go with this guy? Let Nick Sirianni draft his guy. I don't want Howie having any say, and I don't want Jeffrey Lurie having any say. Have Nick Sirianni draft his guy if he wants his quarterback. Let him get his guy. Who says that Jalen Hurts is his guy? Just because they drafted him 2 years ago, Nick's like, oh, I automatically love Jalen. No, he has to say that. He has to. What is he going to say? Oh, this guy sucks? Who else is he going to go to? Minshew? I thought Minshew didn't look that good, to be honest with you, from what I saw from him against Detroit. So, oh, boy. Boy. I'm not set up for the future, man. I'm really not.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question, and it's going to sound a little funny, but there's a reason I'm asking. 49ers, do you think they have a good team?
Yeah, somewhat. But they're not playing well. But yeah, they do.
And the talk over there in 49ers country right now is we should sit Jimmy Garoppolo, play the young guy. The season is lost. Right. The Eagles, who basically have the same record, fans are like, oh, we can make a playoff push. It's just funny how two teams, right around the same record, see things differently from a fan perspective. It's just crazy to think that.
Because our fans have gotten that Super Bowl. They've had it stuck in their minds, and they want it back so badly that they'll settle with suck to get to the playoffs. They don't see like me. They don't see like you. They think that on some weirdo universe that this team is comparable to the Super Bowl team. They could compare them getting into the playoffs and maybe going on the run. If they get into the playoffs, they're losing by 40 points. Like, there's no comparison. This team is butt ass awful. Like, they're very bad. Like, horrible. They're a bad football team. And that's, like I said before, that's why I gave credit to Nick Sirianni last week, because, again, he played a very good football team. And they literally gave it their all with a butt-ass defense. They gave up 38 of 34 passes. Well, he was, 34 for 38, Justin Herbert. They gave up that completion percentage, and they were in it at the end of the game because of Nick Sirianni's game plan. But that's not going to happen every week. This team is just really bad. And then it lifts the fan base up, thinking that they could play with anybody when they really can't. It was a great game plan, but you're not going to have that great game plan every single week. You're just not. You can't run it. In this day and age, in this league, you cannot run it 75% of the time. You can't. It's a passing league, And the fact that he just stopped trusting Jalen Hurts throwing the ball, this goes to show you everything. It goes to show you everything. He's out on Jalen Hurts. The head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles is out on Jalen Hurts by the way he called the game last week. That's what I got from it. And if they go into the season next year with him as the quarterback, oh, God, we have some big problems. We have some major problems.
I think we both agree at this point, it's probably going to be a lost season. You want to see the young guys succeed a little bit. Jalen Hurts, and I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm not saying he's great. I'm not saying he's a bum. We're in this season with Jalen Hurts as our starter right now. I'm not saying I want to see him throw the ball 40 times because we saw that early in the season, and I kept telling you I wanted a more balanced offense. Now, I'm not saying he's the most accurate passer, not making the greatest of throws, but if we're going to go out, I would like to go out swinging. Run the ball, play action pass the ball. Mix it together. I don't want to see 14 throws and 45 runs. I want to see 25 throws, 25, 30 runs. I want to see a little bit closer of a mixture. Not saying that Jalen Hurts is going to make all the plays in the world, but at least go down swinging. And then at the end of the season, you 100% can say, hey, I gave him every opportunity in the world, and guess what? He never showed it to us.
But, Zach, you can't mix it up when it literally worked last game. That's 75% of the running last game nearly worked. It nearly worked. That's how much of a game plan the LA Chargers didn't expect to happen. They expected to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. He never threw the ball. Nick Sirianni ran the ball. They didn't expect that. That's why they were in it at the end of the game. That wasn't necessarily us playing well. The game plan was just brilliant. It was a brilliant game plan, and they didn't expect it at all. But my point is, you can't do that every single week. You can't. Because these teams are going to catch on and be like, oh, we're going to run the ball again? You're going to run it 75% of the time because his quarterback can't throw the ball and he doesn't trust him? No, they're going to catch on to it. It's the NFL. I was telling this one person at the bar the other day, there's a little percentage, maybe 0.00002 of people in the world that could maybe possibly play on a practice squad for an NFL team. You know how hard it is to find a quarterback to run your offense? It's not only throwing the ball. It's not only reading your targets. It is getting the ball out in less than a second. It is reading your targets, 1, 2, 3, 4. It is running if you don't have enough time to throw the ball. You have to counter all these things. You have to put all these things in your mind. And people think it's Madden. Jalen Hurts, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying that, he's not a good athlete. I'm not saying any of that. But the fact of the matter is, he doesn't have the intellect to read all of his targets, make a decision, and if it's not there, run. He reads one target and runs. You cannot do that in the NFL. You can't. You will be a losing franchise and a losing product for years. And that's my rant.
I'm just saying, you just said you can't run the ball 75% of the time every time. So you already know we need to run the ball efficiently. We need to be able to make obvious passing throws in obvious passing situations. So I would like to see a little more consistency between the balance of running and throwing the ball. Now, there's going to be game plans where you're going to want to throw the ball more. There's going to be game plans where you're going to want to run the ball more. Even if Jalen Hurts isn't an accurate passer, there's just some games you need to throw the ball 40 times. Like it or not, that's just how it is. But I would like to see more of a consistency and say, hey, we've seen 17 games this season of Jalen, 4 games last season. He is clearly not the answer. We've tried to give him every week to get better. We've balanced out the run game. He's got the run game to work off of, and he just hasn't been able to make the improvements. Or, hey, he may not be our guy, but he showed us enough that maybe next season he can progress into that guy. Or, hey, guess what? We'll still have enough assets to go ahead and get a quarterback in a stronger class in 2023. So there are options out there. I would just like to see Jalen be able to give the opportunity to fail behind a good game plan.
He's already failed, in my opinion. But next year, this is my problem. They're going to go with Jalen Hurts again because there's no quarterback in the draft. Now, they did say this weekend for the UNC pick game at Heinz Field that Howie Roseman will be in the box scouting both Sam Howell and Kenny Pickett. So he's going to be there while the team is on the road. And that should tell you something. They've already given up on Jalen Hurts. Everyone knows it. I know it. They've given up on him. He's here to possibly maybe fetch some assets if they trade him. Maybe. Because he's not going to stay here as a backup. He's not going to. He's going to go to, Houston or someone that desperately needs a quarterback. But they're already out on him. They are already out on him. So I don't even know why I'm saying that they would bring him back. Because seeing that Howie Roseman, and I completely forgot about this comment today, seeing that he's going to be in that box, maybe they're not going to bring him back. So it makes me a little bit more happy. I completely forgot about that quote.
And he was at the game last week.
Yeah. So I completely
He was at Ole Miss and Liberty last week to see Malik Willis versus
completely out on
Matt Corral.
They're completely out on him. All right, so I'm going to take care of this before we talk more birds. What are your thoughts on the Sixers so far for me? Back-to-back losses, but at least they put up a fight. All right, number one. All right, I'm going to make this really self-explanatory and simple. One, the Knicks suck. Number two, Maxey is a beast, looks like Allen Iverson, and you should trade Ben Simmons tomorrow for a box build. That's my take on that. I agree with Nitro 100%. You have to be. You're a quarterback in the NFL. Lamar Jackson. Lamar, I've dogged on his passing game week in and week out, but he has 4.29 speed. And he can throw the ball with a little bit of accuracy in a short window. Jalen Hurts can't. Jalen Hurts steps back, puts his whole palm on the football, and throws with his legs. He throws with his hips. He throws with his legs. He's a bad quarterback. He's bad. Eagles should stay away from Howell and Pitt. See, here's the thing. I would agree with you. But if we can get them late, I would take Pickett. I think Pickett in this offense would actually run it well. From what I've seen so far. I know he plays at Pittsburgh. He needs a little bit more tougher competition. And to be honest with you, you're getting that against UNC because UNC beat Wake Forest last week. So I would like to see how Pickett plays against them. I really would. And I think that's why he's going to the game because Wake Forest were late no before they got beat. So I think it's interesting, to be honest with you. Sam Howell's O-line at UNC is still a topic. Yeah, I get the Sam Howell hype. I mean, he was good last year, but he obviously – I don't think he couldn't he not come out, or did he just return? I forget that one.
I remember 2 years ago he had a really good year. Then last year was so-so. This year has been terrible, but like Jerry said, his offensive line is terrible. The only reason they were able to put up some points is that run game got going last week, and Sam Howell made some great runs as well from the quarterback position. So he's more of a mobile guy that can throw the ball, but this year it's just not being able to see what he can do because he's got no talent around him, really.
Was I at the Broncos Eagles game in 2017? Yep, I was. I was at almost every single home game in 2017, including the NFC Championship game and the NFC Divisional game. That was the one where they actually took off CBS because we were just kicking the shit out. So that was actually one of the more fun games of the year. I want to see what Smith and Watkins can do with exactly, and even Jalen Reagor. I just dissed Jalen Reagor, but if you put a real quarterback in this offense, maybe he'll flash out. Maybe he'll pan out. Who knows? We're talking about how there's a lot of how love in here. What are your thoughts on Sam Howell?
I like him. I think he shows a lot of poise and presence in the pocket. He can also make plays with his leg. He's a hard evaluation right now because that team around him is so terrible. But he's doing, what you would expect with a terrible team around him at North Carolina.
Right. Will Philly be able to stop Devontae Williams and Melvin Gordon? Well, we have on paper one of the best defensive lines in the league, but one of the worst linebacking corps in the league. So my answer to that is no. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think they're going to have career days, both of them. Yes, Melvin Gordon, a guy that's on the decline. I think they're both going to have career days, and they're going to get killed. That's what I genuinely think. Do I still want Rodgers? Yeah. If UNC had I mean, I would go back to this comment. Do I still want Rodgers? Yeah, because he didn't take the vaccine. Yeah, of course I. Why wouldn't I? It's his choice. Listen, and Rob, I don't know you as a person. All right, can we please just stop with this COVID stuff? Like seriously, it's a year and a half. It's a year and a half into it, almost 2 years. We got to move on from it eventually. All right, we can't just live in fear. I'm sorry. It's not a political show. I understand that. Zach hates politics. Not a political show. I caught COVID in March. I have prosmia from it, which means if I eat certain things, it tastes like garbage. I understand what COVID's about, but it's something we as human beings have to move on from. We're all going to die one day. We have to move on from it, or else we're going to go crazy. All right? So no, I don't care what Rodgers did. I really don't. If anything, he's a fucking hero. Jerry Mayos, thank you so much for the 999 super chat. If UNC had a good O-line, how would be in the mix for first overall? It's a decent drop pick. It is. Like Zach said, he likes Sam Howell, but he has an awful team around him. I remember watching the one Sam Howell game this year against Virginia Tech. It was the first game of the year. And he looked awful. He looked absolutely horrendous. And then Virginia Tech fell off. But I can't really judge them if they really do have an awful team. I haven't really paid attention to college football this year because obviously I've been working on Saturdays. I've been trying to stack up as much money as I possibly can. I haven't really watched college football this year, especially because my team Rutgers this year bought ass horrible. I know that Alabama's still in the top four of the Jackson, which is not shocking to me because they get into it every year, even if they have that one loss.
And have the toughest schedule out of the top 6 teams.
Yeah, but they lost to A&M.
A&M was a top 5 team before they lost their quarterback. I don't know why everybody forgets that.
Yeah, they're still A&M. But yeah, thanks for the super chat. Let me see something. How would you rate Chip Kelly as a head coach out of 10? I asked because the last time Philly came to Denver in 2013, Chip Kelly put. I'd rate him a 7. I don't think it was necessarily him being a bad coach that got him fired. I think it was because of him being a dictator and him wanting all the power that got him fired. But as a head coach, I had a 7. I don't think
I'd give him a 3.
Really?
He lasted one season for the 49ers. 1 season.
Yeah, but the 49ers were butt-ass that year. They were horrible.
And so was Chip Kelly.
But yeah, that's not his fault. I know he played bad on Saturday, but I think Malik Willis has tools to be a superstar. I don't know much about Malik Willis to talk about him that much. He's not one guy where, he plays on Liberty. I don't watch a lot of Liberty football. I just don't.
It's because he's 6'2". He's got the frame. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's like Justin Herbert, but at a lot lesser of a team, and that's why everybody's jumping on the train. I mean, he did play at Auburn. He wasn't able to win the job over Bo Nix, I believe, at the time in Auburn, so he did transfer to Liberty, but that Liberty team just obviously they're not going to stack up with any Power 5 team at all, even with Ole Miss being as they are, and it's hard to judge these guys because all these guys are playing at lesser talented schools, and you're not able to see what they can do in a true offense with pieces around them. And then you want to take a risk by drafting these guys in the first round and say, all right, here's the keys to the Ferrari. Don't crash it.
Yep. Well, what do you think about Bo Nix? Yeah, I always remember him coming in as a true freshman for Auburn.
He was hyped.
against Oregon, and he was so hyped up. Now, they won that game because I remember betting it, and they actually won the point spread. And this was like 3 years ago. But Bo Nix was a guy that was so hyped up that you'd think he'd be the next Joe Montana. And the guy, like, his first game, I was like, he's really not that good. Like, and still not that good.
Honestly, I would like to have seen him in a different offense. I just think the Auburn offense is terrible to run in general. But he's too inconsistent for me outside of that. But I do think that offense does weigh him down a little bit.
See, but here's the thing, Brian. Define good test for Hurts. Because every week's a good test for Hurts if you think about it. You know, even against Detroit Lions, we killed them. But was Jalen Hurts the reason why we killed them? No, he wasn't. It was the run game. You know, it was the game plan and it was the run game. And it was the fact that Detroit couldn't score. You know, against our defense, that is horrible. So when isn't it a good test for Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts had 9 weeks to show his game, and his game is below average. Like, that's what it is. And like, we keep giving him test after test after test, and it's the same exact play. It's just you can't make it up. After the second game, after the football team game last year, I was out on him. Tired of people saying new QB, man. I believe he's doing great. But all right, so Julio, I'm gonna ask you personally, what is he doing that makes him look great? Because great is one of those words that is hyped up. To be great, you have to be a Rodgers, you have to be a Wilson, you have to be a Patrick Mahomes of old. All right, not now, but you know what I mean. You have to be a Brady. All right, you have to be someone that takes their game to the next level. What has Hurts done to be defined as great? I wouldn't even say he's good. What has he done that's great? You know what I'm saying? Like Lamar Jackson right now, great. Players like that, great. Jalen Hurts, not good. I want to hear your opinion on that. It's funny because Hurts is so good in fantasy football. Yeah, stat padding, and that's what.
Yeah, it's fantasy football.
Yeah, that's what pisses me off every single week because when I go against them, you know, I'd be winning by 20 points, and he scored like what, 4 points in 3 quarters. All of a sudden, he comes in when we're losing, and he balls out. You know, he fills up the stat pads, and I lose. So it pisses me off.
It's fantasy football. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. But it's insane. You know, I know how much Zach loves predictions, so I'll let him go first. What is your prediction on the game?
My prediction on the game is that the Eagles pull this one out late on a field goal, and I'm going to say same as the Chargers game, 27-24. I like that score, and I think that's the kind of game that we're in for.
All right, Julio brought this up. And I'll get to my prediction. Describe bad. I described bad the whole show. I literally told you from top to bottom how he's been bad. He's been not only bad, he's been brutal. You know, not brutal as in get him off the field brutal, but he's been brutal as in not a franchise quarterback brutal. Like a guy that you go into next year knowing that he's going to be below average at best and not lead your team anywhere brutal. To me, that's worse than someone just flat out sucks, you know, because you have no hope with Jalen Hurts. You have nothing. In today's game, you need to throw the football at an excessive rate. And he can't. He just can't. He doesn't have the arm. You need a wrist flicker. You need someone that throws with the wrist, not the whole fucking body. Like, it's common sense, bro. Like, come on. I know you probably like Jalen Hurts, and that's fine as a fanboy. I understand that. But, like, be realistic. You know, go back. Watch some of his film. The way he throws the ball, he uses his whole body. I want someone that literally flicks with their wrist, like a Rodgers does, like a Lamar does, like a Patrick Mahomes does. I want someone that uses their wrist to throw, not their whole arm. Like, that's what Tebow did. He used his whole arm. I don't want someone like that. Why would you want someone like that? It doesn't work. Yeah, Hurts can't read defenses, can't throw his accuracy, and doesn't have a strong otherwise. To be fair, I can't think of many QBs who were superstars after 13. 13 games is almost a full season, bro. It's almost a full season. And he plays the same way every game. Like, you watch every game, it's like clockwork. It's like, you ever see the movie The Clockwork Orange? It's the same thing. It's just on repeat, on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. It's the same thing. Like, what's the definition of insanity? You know, you're
Doing the
expecting
same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
It's the same thing. You know, it's not going to get better. Like, it's not. I'm sorry. I know he has his fans. It's just not going to get better. But yeah, as for my prediction, I'm going to go. We're at Mile High. It's a short week. The altitude up there is disgusting. They're not going to be able to breathe well. I'm going to go Denver 35, Eagles 21. I'm going to go because I think at the end of the game, Jalen Hurts will get his points. Let's see. He responded. He's 22. I think he's 23, actually. Has second year, a rookie wide receiver, a rookie head coach. He has connected, and he has it. But all that comes with learning to be successful. So, yes, he's not doing great, though. That word is just so – you're just throwing that word out there. He's not great. You know, even with all that stuff you just said, and you could say he's done a good job with all that stuff you just said, but it's not a great job. Like, great is it's a huge word. Great's a big word, dude. It just is. Big without being big.
I think what he's trying to say is he's doing great in the situation that he has at hand.
I don't believe in it. I just don't. Like, I don't play the morale card. I just don't. When it comes to this team, I want to see a future quarterback. I don't see it with him. The last two times this team has played, the winning team has scored 50 plus points. Yep. And I remember the one in 2013. It was Vic versus Peyton, and that team was over in the first quarter. Well, that game was over in the first quarter. Is there a chance that Denver overlooks the Eagles and the Broncos? I mean, there's always a chance. Definitely always a chance. You know, because they beat the Cowboys last week in convincing fashion. That game was over at halftime, and that was in Dallas. So when you usually have a great win like that, yeah, they could overlook the Eagles. 100%. It could always happen. I'm not saying the Eagles can't win this game, but I just don't think they will. Hey, what's up, Nitro? Sorry I missed the first part of the stream. Just go back and RU basketball game. Did they win? I know they played Lehigh. But they were like, I think they went to overtime. I could look it up. I can definitely see it's upside down. I mean, I ain't so bad. If Denver blew at Dallas, fucked. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. This Broncos team is nowhere near as talented as 2015. No, I mean, they had Peyton Manning in his twilight. So, I mean, you know, when you have athletes at the twilight of their career, you know, that's like near the end, but not at the end yet. You know, when you have that, they have that last-ditch effort to win the title. You're not going to beat that team. By the way, guys, we're 43 minutes into the stream. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. We are here every single Wednesday at 9 o'clock. This Sunday we will be doing the show at 4 o'clock games. It'll be around 7:30. And yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream so far. So you're saying drafting Liberty, Pitt, North Carolina is way better and trust in time. How can you be because Jalen Hurts wasn't good at Bama. Like in big moments, he wasn't good at Bama. He got benched for Tua, when Tua doesn't even look that good. You know, he got benched for him. You know, then he went to Lincoln Riley's system. He looked better, but you're forgetting that he played in the Big 12 where there's no defense, and he had CeeDee Lamb the third pick. So it's like you can't really weigh the talent level from these competitors. But Sam Howell was a projected top 5 pick in this year's draft, well, last year's draft, if he came out of college, and Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh, he's playing against him this week. Now, I don't know much about Kenny Pickett. I'll be honest with you. All right, I got to watch him against Clemson, which Howie Roseman is doing this weekend. He's going to be there while the team's on the road. So he'll be there to scout him against Sam Howell, and we'll see how he does. But Howard Roseman being at that game, it tells me everything. You know, they're scouting a guy like he's paying more attention to a guy that's playing for Pittsburgh than being in Denver scouting the team. He's already out on Hurts. He's out on him without telling you he's out on him. That's just what it is. You know, you don't go scout someone at the University of Pittsburgh when your team is technically still in it for the third wildcard spot. You just don't do that. You're the GM. You know, he's definitely out on him. Nobody's going to let him run because maybe he wants to trade for assets. Hurts was a projected 4th round pick. If I'm going to be honest with you, I had him as a 5th round pick to undrafted. That's where I had him, and they picked him in the 2nd round. And I always say that. We played the Broncos in Denver to them. Yep, MVP year. Yeah, he's going to be there. Howie being there also tells me he's not getting fired. Oh, Howie's definitely not getting fired. People that want him to get fired are living on a pipe dream. He's not getting fired. He's going to be here. But the Broncos have a good roster except for quarterback. Yeah, but I don't get that part because Teddy Bridgewater has one of the highest completion percentages in the league. You know, and that's exactly what you need against a team like us. So when I hear that, I don't expect it to be. Hurts was a bigger reach than Daniel Jones. I don't know about that one. Daniel Jones played at Duke, number 1. Number 2, he wasn't that good at Duke. Number 3, I don't even know why that pick made any sense. Because the Mannings loved him or something. There goes Zach. He'll be back eventually, maybe. But that's a tough one for me because Daniel Jones, that pick didn't really make any sense. Like, I'm not saying that the Jalen Hurts pick made sense, but that one really didn't make any sense. It was almost to the point to where they were picking him at 6, but you didn't think they were actually going to do it. You know, it just didn't make any sense. But I don't know. I don't think Howie will draft a quarterback this draft. None of them are better than Hurts. Well, you have a valid point. I'm not going to say none of them are better than Hurts because you never know how they're going to develop. But that's why they're going to scout them because they want to see if they have better potential. You know, I just feel like they're out. That just goes to show you that they're out on Hurts. And we have Zach back on the computer. Zach is back on the computer, and this is the exciting part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we open up the phone lines. It took a little bit longer than expected for Zach to get the computer up, but this is where we open up the phone lines. We want to hear from you guys. So the phone number is 518-944-4297. We want you to bring it all, give your thoughts, give your opinions. And we want to hear your voice because for the last 45 minutes of the show, this show is yours. I felt like I've been speaking forever, and Zach finally has it up. So call in number 518-944-1497 if you guys want to call in. Was Eli Manning overrated? Eli Manning was an average to below average talent, yeah. But he has 2 rings, so he was good enough in the playoffs. So, I mean, that's what I'll say about that. Tua took Hurts' job, but Hurts took Carson's job. Yeah, but did Hurts really take Carson's job, or did Carson wanting to get out of there just give the job to Jalen Hurts because they knew that Carson wasn't going to be back? You know, listen. I don't like Wentz either. I'm one of the biggest Wentz haters. I hate Carson Wentz. All right, I want a quarterback who fits this team for the future. You know, I want the truth. You can't. And I just want a quarterback for the future, and I don't see it with Hurts. I never have. I probably never will. You know, it's just my opinion, but I respect you defending your boy like that. I really do. DJ Trevor is better than DJ. I think so. You know, they just beat the Bills, by the way. Hurts didn't take Carson's job. Carson just played himself out of the job. Carson was horrible. Carson was absolutely terrible last year. We have anything yet, Zach?
No calls yet. 518-944-4297.
Yep. Eli Manning is the most overrated quarterback of all time, more than Nathan, Namath, and Stabler. Yeah, I mean, Eli Manning's definitely going to get in because of his name. I think the last drive versus Los Angeles is what fans think he will be. Yeah, I mean,
Nice.
yeah,
Wishful thinking.
definitely wishful thinking, but I don't think so. And by playing himself out of a job, someone took it who might be that be Hurts. Yeah, I just don't see what you're seeing with Hurts. I don't. That's a flash, but anyone can show they can make good throws. Yeah, but Hurts hasn't. Hurts hasn't made good throws. Like he's playing with no pressure right now. Everyone knows it's a down year. Everyone and their mother knows it's a down year this year. And he's still not playing up to his potential. When you have no pressure whatsoever and you're not playing up to your potential, or if you are playing up to your potential but you have no talent, it just goes to show you he's playing in a non-pressured year this year, guys. Like there's nothing on his shoulders right now. Nothing. He's playing with house money. I don't want Howie to be GM, but he's not going anywhere. Larry wouldn't have allowed Howie to get all his assets if he were on a short leash. Yeah, and the thing is Howie did get those assets, so that gives him at least one more year, in my opinion. Do I want him back? No. But at the same time, he did put him in a good position draft-wise. So he's going to be here. He's going to be here. At least my guy to the right, where number one, does he agree? Well, I'm here to tell you that he is an Alabama fan. So he's always going to stand by Jalen Hurts no matter what. If he sucks, if he's great, it doesn't matter. He's always going to stand by Jalen Hurts because he's an Alabama fan. So that's what you need to know. Even though I tell him every single week Jalen Hurts sucks. He's like, yeah, okay. He knows it. He just won't say it.
I just want Bryce Young to come.
I don't like him either. I watched him like last week. Whatever.
If you watched him last week, you would enjoy him because he had absolutely no run game. Offensive line was terrible, but yet he still was poised, calm, and made all the right throws.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe we'll be better. We fleeced Miami. As much as we hate him, he deserves credit for that move. Yeah, they're 2-7. And they're definitely going to lose a lot more games. So I do agree with that part. Can Bama beat Georgia? No, they cannot. No. And I am confident in saying that. So, fuck you, Bama. Bryce Young got to come to Rutgers.
You too.
Huh?
You said fuck you, Bama. So fuck you too.
Okay. Bryce Young got to come to RU to replace Verdal. I mean, I'll take him. I'm not saying Bryce Young's going to be – we're talking about Bryce Young coming to like a team like the Eagles and turning them around. I mean, he'd ball out on Rutgers. Yeah, absolutely. Because, look, I mean, it's a weaker conference than the SEC. And Verdal stinks, but Bryce Young, after what I've seen, I mean, I'm not that impressed with him. I'm just not. But that's just me.
You gotta watch the games more.
I do. I Bama's on TV all the time. He's on TV literally all the time. That's why I was impressed with Devonta Smith last year, because the guy was a baller.
And Bryce Young's a baller.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll turn my head a little bit. Caleb Williams, 2024. Am I missing something out of that one?
No, he's doing pretty good right now. He took Spencer Rattler's job, but
the guy from Oakland.
Still early.
Okay. Why can't Bama beat Georgia? Because Georgia's disgusting. Georgia's defense is just nasty.
Their front line, defensive tackles, defensive ends are all NFL players. Yeah. All NFL players. And Alabama's offensive line has probably been the worst since Nick Saban started coaching Alabama.
And just be grateful, Shirley, that Bama's going to lose this year. That's all we can root for. Ain't that bad. Look at the stats. What I always say, John, stats are for losers. Georgia is not going to beat by – no. It's going to be like a 24-3 game. It's not going to be close. It's not going to be close at all. Georgia doesn't have an actual quarterback. Oh, come on.
They have two.
Yeah, they have two of them. Hurts inflates the stats that he does. Listen, if anyone wants to call in and debate on the Jalen Hurts thing, just do it. I want to hear voice. I don't want to see words. I don't want to see typing. I want to see someone call in and debate me. Everyone wants to get confrontational with me sometimes, especially on Twitter, and they'll never have the balls to call in and debate me. So, that's why we have the call-in number, because I want to hear someone's voice, but it just hasn't happened.
Apparently my voice just doesn't cut it anymore, Kyle. I understand.
No, your voice definitely cuts. I'm not saying anything. What I'm saying is Alabama sucks this year, and I'm grateful.
What
When
you
you
should
have
be saying is that Georgia finally has the offensive talent to match their defensive talent, and that's why they've been so dominant this year, because they got some grown-ass men on that defensive side of the ball, and finally they got some offensive weapons at the wide receiver position, at the tight end position. They got ballers all around.
Absolutely, and I want one of those ballers. Like who's their linebacker? Stingley?
I can't remember off the top of my
Or is
head.
he a corner? Is he a cornerback? No, Stingley's
That's LSU.
LSU. I was thinking of someone else. Stingley's from LSU. I would want him like badly.
Yeah, he's
Off topic.
playing pretty good.
Off topic. Yes, Chrono Cowboy. I love that.
Do not spoil
I
it.
watched it. Dexter's one of my favorite shows ever, but it had one of the worst endings of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the first episode with my mom, actually, and she does not like random violence. And it started off with a bang. Let me just tell you that. It was a great episode. I'm not going to ruin anything because Zach didn't watch it. But it was great. Go watch it. Dexter New Blood. It was really phenomenal. It started off with a bang. And it's on every Sunday. So after the Eagles probably lose, it'll make me happy watching that.
They're going to win.
Serial killer show.
They're going to win.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll make my day great.
I'll put a bet on it. What do you want to bet?
I don't want to bet against my own team. I will bet. Hey, when Georgia does face Alabama, I'll bet Georgia, though.
How about Alabama-Auburn?
No, because
You want to bet the Iron Bowl for me?
Alabama's probably going to win that game, unfortunately. Because the refs always take Alabama's
schedule than anybody other than Georgia.
The refs always take Alabama's side.
Cincinnati's number 5.
Yeah, they stink. Stingley got smoked by Devonta Smith. Well, Devonta Smith
smoked by Devonta Smith.
Devonta Smith was the Heisman Trophy winner. This dude a hillbilly. What?
Ooh.
He's not a hillbilly. Dude, there's nothing hillbilly-esque about Zach.
I don't live in that kind of upstate New York. I don't have farms around me.
See, I know this is just a troll question. Is Sean Clifford an NFL talent? No. I don't even think he's a college talent.
Not at a Power 5 school like Penn State when you're hoping for championships, no.
That was the year before he had the Heisman. Yeah. I mean, Stingley, but that gave time Stingley to develop. He developed. You know that he was a freshman that year?
Stingley's a top 10 pick right now.
Yeah, he's good. John Mahone from the stats from space had 4 TDs versus LSU. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, in like the first half.
Eagles should draft that beast, the defensive end out of Oregon. Well, you're gonna need a top 3 pick to do that. And it's funny because that's the exact type of player that Howie would draft. So if he's there, he probably will be a Philadelphia Eagle. I'm just going to tell you right now. Even if we don't need him. Johan Dotson is tough. He's a stud. I know nothing about him. Can't tell you. Thibodeau is going to go first overall. Yeah,
he has a good chance.
Huh?
He has a good chance.
Yep. I think it's French name, so I think I said that right. John, absolutely not. Never. I didn't say anything bad. I'm a Utah Utes fan, and Nick Saban said none of our players could make the practice squad, but we whooped Yellow asses. Okay. I don't know much about the Utah Utes.
They suck.
Okay. So there you go. If Zach says they suck, that's just how I guess they suck.
I mean, they had a hard-fought game against UCLA and who else against Oregon. So, whatever.
I like
All
that
right, we got a
safety
phone call.
from Notre Dame. Yeah, Kyle Hamilton. I do too. I agree.
Fly Like an Eagle podcast. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Calling from Portland, Oregon.
And what's your name, bud?
Portland.
Roy.
What's up, Roy?
Hey, what's up, Roy?
Yeah, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts. He was a second round pick for a reason.
Why is that?
Because he wasn't very good in college, and he's proven that he's not very good for the Eagles.
No. But the second round pick. But here's the thing: we're talking about him. We're talking about him being a reach at the second round. I had him going in the 5th round.
I think most teams had him.
Yeah, I had him going in the 5th round.
Yeah, he stinks. Like Jalen Hurts stinks, and it's awful that he's playing for my team right now because he's the reason why.
All the other 32 teams in the league also had him going later than the 2nd pick.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they reached up for him because the rumor was they thought that the Cowboys were going to draft him because they weren't sold on Dak coming back from they weren't sold on Dak and they didn't want to pay him. So they thought they were going to take Jalen Hurts, so they reached up to get him before the Cowboys did. The Cowboys were never going to pick him.
Yeah, and that didn't turn out very good.
Yeah, not at all. I agree. But what's your prediction on the game?
I really, really want to know what you guys think of. There's not a lot of quarterbacks coming out of this draft. I really think we should trade for Wilson.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I would do it tomorrow. But what are we giving up for him?
Maybe like our last first round pick we get this year, and then maybe like a second next year.
See, I would do that in 2 seconds, but will the Seattle Seahawks do that? Because
I'm not giving up 2 number ones for him.
Yeah, they're going to want a lot.
You're not getting them.
Yeah.
So it depends on what Seattle wants.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really have another option. That's the thing. Their next option is Geno Smith, and he's not very good. So, I mean, they're definitely going to want a lot back.
But being in Oregon, I watched the Seahawks too, and anyway, to make a long story short, I think Russell would be able to run Nick Sirianni offense, and he would make this receiving core look a lot better.
I agree with you. I really do. But yeah, I mean, listen, it's really not up to us. All we could do is talk. All we can do is talk and wish about what we want to do and what we want to have as fans.
But I've seen enough games Jalen Hurts, and I'm just not a fan of him. I try to give him because he's an Eagle. I try to give him games, and I've just seen enough, and I just don't see him as a starting caliber quarterback in the league, less known for the Eagles.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, you're talking to number one, a guy that has never been on the Jalen Hurts train, and number two, an Alabama fan that loves Jalen Hurts no matter what. So when both of us say that he's really not been that great, you have a problem there. And he's a diehard Alabama fan. So
yeah, I don't watch a lot of college. I don't really have a favorite college team, but to know that Alabama's head coach didn't even see that he would be, their guy, and just kicked him out, or whatever, and sent him packing to somewhere else. That just tells me a lot that even Nick Saban didn't think he was the man there in college, and so now we're starting to see it for the Eagles.
Yeah, we are. I agree. Well, thanks for the phone call, buddy. I really appreciate it. Well, yeah, I mean, that guy nailed it right on the head. He doesn't like what he saw from Jalen Hurts, just like I haven't. And it just we have a lot of people like that. We have a lot of people like that, including myself, that are out on him, and we have a lot of people like that. We have a lot of people that think that Jalen Hurts will turn it around at some point. And unfortunately, I'm not looking at those people saying, "Oh, maybe they have a shot to think that they're right." No, they really don't. He stinks. Um, Kyle, are you ready to say that Jalen Hurt regular is trapped? Have you watched the show, or are you just are you tuning in now? I just tore him a new one. I tore him a new one during the show. I said that Jalen Rager, he was my boy, but one reception for -6 yards is not going to cut it in the NFL. That's horrible. You could do that, Lamar.
All right, we got another phone call.
All right.
Fly Like an Eagle podcast. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Jerry Mejias from Washington Township.
What's up, Jerry?
So, my opinion on Jalen Hurts is I think he was horrid. I was never on a Jalen Hurts fan, never cared for him, never liked him. Honestly, I think he's really bad.
Right.
And for some of the people who want to trade for Russell Wilson, I like Russell Wilson, but I would rather save the assets and draft defense and maybe draft Matt Corral, which I think he's going to be a very good quarterback.
All right. Well, see, I don't really watch, like I said before, I don't have time to watch college football. I saw Matt Corral versus Louisville at the beginning of the year. He looked really good, but then again, it was against Louisville. So Zach would know more about Matt Corral than me.
I'm just worried that being in a Lane Kiffin offense, we might be hyping him up a little too much.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin is bad. He's a bad head coach. He was bad in the NFL.
But offensively, he's one of the best minds in college football.
Yeah, that's true. Like a lot of coaches who do bad in the NFL actually do good in college, which is that's been very that's been happening a lot often.
Yeah, I mean, Lane Kiffin's first ever coaching gig in the NFL was at the age of 34 years old, and he coached a professional team in the Oakland Raiders. That was his first ever coaching gig.
And like moving on from that, I think Matt Corral, he's very good. He has a lot of upside. He's like he could have like a Zach Wilson year, like come out of nowhere and be like a top pick.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Joe Burrow was the same way too. Like he came out of nowhere at LSU.
Yeah, but see, Joe Burrow also had an all-time offense at LSU. Matt Corral, he has a decent offense. Like I can't really judge him. Yeah, I can't really judge him because, like I said, I don't really watch much college football. I couldn't really watch this year because, number one, my Rutgers are horrible. Well, not horrible. They're on the upswing, but they're just not ready to compete yet. And number two, I've been working on Saturdays, and
that's
college
understandable.
Football. Yeah, I mean,
I've been working a lot on Saturdays too. Like I'm able to watch college football as well as because I have a lot of phone apps that I can watch through. But as I was saying, like there's also like Malik Willis also has a lot of good upside, but like originally Sam Howell was originally one of the top quarterbacks to be taken, but with the year UNC has been having, they have not been good. They have been completely horrible on the offensive line.
Yeah, I'm just happy that Alabama's not going to win the title. That's all I'm happy about. But yeah, talking about Corral, I just think, I know that Howie Roseman's looking at Pickett this year. He's looking at, well, not this year. He's looking at him this weekend along with Sam Howell. So I don't know if they are going to pick a quarterback, which I do think they will. I think they're going to go with either Pickett or Howell. That's just my opinion based off everything I've seen.
I could see that happening. I could also see Corral. I understand, I could see him going with Corral. I could see Howie going with Corral as well. It depends where where one of our top three, one of our first round picks will be at.
Right. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I really appreciate the phone call, Jerry, and I appreciate the donations too. That really helps the channel out. So, that was Jerry from Washington Township. It's a very good phone call.
All right, so The reason that I don't want Kenny Pickett is because, yes, he's gradually gotten better year by year, but he's never had a year quite like this. This could be an anomaly, or it could be, like a Joe Burrow-esque year. Ultimately, the kid's 24. By the time he gets 2 years of NFL experience, he's 26. Are we really that far away from being a consistent playoff contender that we can afford to draft a 24-year-old as opposed to a 21 or 22-year-old? I know it's not much of a difference, but it does make that much of a difference in the NFL.
You're talking about his age?
Yeah.
But how does that make it different? I mean, the Cleveland Browns drafted Brandon Whedon at age 28. Now, granted, he wasn't that good,
Yeah,
but
how'd that turn out?
what?
How'd that turn out?
No, he's 28. That's like completely different. Like 23 years old is like it's still very young.
24. Not
No, it
23,
doesn't matter.
24.
23, 24, same thing. It doesn't matter.
People are going to be thrown off by his age, but we got a phone call. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Anthony Serrano from New Brunswick, New Jersey.
Hey, what's
Hey,
up,
what's
man?
up, man?
How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah,
How are you
good.
doing?
Doing well. So, got the Broncos this week. It's going to be interesting because I actually thought we actually had a decent shot in this game, but I mean, the Broncos just went down to Dallas and just totally just exposed them. So I don't really know too much about this game. And Teddy Bridgewater actually looked decent. I don't really think Bridgewater's all that good, but he actually played pretty well. And with how we've done against quarterbacks this year, well, I mean in general, but against the quarterback especially, like didn't Herbert? He went 32 for 38, and one of those incompletions was a spike. Like it's gonna be tough for me to like envision how we're gonna stop Denver's offense. Like Denver is gonna be missing Von Miller obviously, which I think will be easier on us. But at the end of the day, like it's gonna be tough for me to envision to see us stop them if they play as well as they did against Dallas.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing with that Dallas game, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. That Dallas game was one of the weird games of the year. It was just like the Bills versus Jacksonville. Like you just didn't see it coming. So I don't really like put too much stock into a game like the Broncos and Dallas Cowboys. I just don't. But what I do put stock in is the fact that we're not a very good football team. We're going up to high altitude where you can barely breathe as it is. The Denver Broncos are used to it. We're not. The Denver Broncos have a better team than us this year, statistically in every single category. And I just feel like after the loss that we had last week, a heartbreaking last-second field goal, I feel like we're going to go up to Denver and we're going to get our asses kicked. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally see that happening. I don't know if we're gonna get blown out, but I could totally see that happening. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting nonetheless. I was actually at the game on Sunday, so seeing them kick the last second field goal, that was pretty heartbreaking. But I mean, I did like how they at least remained competitive. You know, the Chargers, they're pretty stacked on offense too. It was great that they at least showed heart. They remained competitive. Devonta Smith was, just balling. Granted, the Chargers had two of their top corners out, but oh my God, this guy's a stud, and he showed a lot. He's going to be great for us for years. But the problem is that we really don't have a quarterback that's helping him out, and he's kind of just holding us back and holding him back too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just think about it. If Devonta Smith had an average quarterback thrown his way, how many yards would he have right now? Let's think about it.
A lot, because he's always open. Like a quarterback that has NFL-esque field vision can see an open receiver all the time. Like he's open all the time. Like the common misconception against the Dallas game was that Trevon Diggs locked him down. No, Devontae was open all the damn time. Either Hurts didn't see him, or he tried to force it and he overthrew him, or something. Like Trevon Diggs, to me, honestly, and I'm not even saying this because I hate the Cowboys, is one of the most overrated players in the league. Yes, you don't get all those picks by accident, but a lot of those picks were just right place, right time. He is getting cooked left and right by these receivers. He got cooked against Denver. He got cooked against New England. But all these casuals, all they look at is just the amount of picks that he gets. And as you said, stats are for losers. He gets all these random picks like right place, right time, and that picks don't define like the elite corners. Like Xavier Howard had 8 picks last year. He's not the best corner in the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like I should make that a T-shirt. Stats are for losers. I feel like it would stick. But no, I agree, dude. I mean, see, the thing about Diggs, though, I'm going to cut him some slack a little bit just because I was at the game versus the Dallas Cowboys week number 3, I believe it was, on Monday Night Football. The guy was brilliant that game. Like, he really was. Now, granted, we do have Jalen Hurts thrown his way, so yeah, you're right on that. But I don't think he's as bad as you're saying, but I also agree with the fact that you can't just look at stats because stats are for losers at the end of the day. But in my opinion, quarterbacks get cooked. I mean, I've seen Jalen Ramsey get cooked. So, I mean, quarterbacks do get cooked because it is a passing league. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're not far off.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying he's just a little bit overrated. Well, no, not a little. I think he's a lot overrated. But I'm not saying he's bad. You know, he's had a good year, but I mean, he's still getting cooked. Like, you know, like that's the only problem I have with all of that. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what I had to say on Trevon Diggs. I don't know how I got. Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about Devonta, and I said, oh yeah, he was burning the ball game. It's just, you know, Jalen wasn't hitting him.
You were just reaching deep down into your Dallas hate and just bringing it out all on phone call, which I love.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm hoping to God that either Watson can be found innocent. Maybe we can make a run for him, or if Russell Wilson actually does one out, maybe we can go after him. And I think Russ is 31, 32. I don't know if that's accurate, but I mean, like, he's still got plenty of years left, Russ. You know what I mean? And like Watson, he just have even more because Watson's 26. So, you know, it'd be awesome. And we have the assets to do it. And I know in reality Howie's not on a short leash, but I mean, let's just say he is on a short leash. Like, if a GM's on a short leash, like, don't you think that would maybe push him to try to like make a big move like that to like not like ensure his job, but I mean like at least like try to like save it?
Yeah. Unless he doesn't think he's on a short leash, then he's not going to even try.
Yeah. But the thing is, he won't get fired, though, because we have Jeff Lurie as owner, and they're, you know, best friends. It's really what it is.
And they have no blood relation. They have no ties. It's just weird. It's really weird.
Yeah. And plus, like, I mean, I know, like, how he's been there for 20 years, and, you know what I mean? He's worked his way up from, you know, an intern all the way to the GM. So, obviously, you know, you have that, you know, close relationship with Lurie, like, you know, through that time, especially, you know, over the last decade. But I mean, it's just like, yeah, like you said, it's just weird. Like, the absolute most that would happen, like, he's been there for 20 years or whatever. Mm-hmm. So the most that would happen is that he just gets demoted to salary cap duties, which I wouldn't hate that at all because he's actually decent with the cap. But that's not going to happen because, like, that's like demoting your own son. Howie's not going to fire or demote his own son.
Right.
Like, that's how
I agree.
You know,
I agree, and I really appreciate the phone call, buddy. It was a good one. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, obviously, you want to trade away assets for someone like Deshaun Watson if he's found guilty, but he said I think the only team really interested at this point was Miami, and did he not waive his no trade clause there?
He wanted to go to Miami. Miami wasn't ready to trade for him.
Okay, so they want to way too much for him. That makes sense. Russ said he wants to play until he's 45. I mean, yeah, I guess.
I want to talk about the Trevon Diggs situation real quick.
All right, let's talk about it.
Call me an Alabama fan. That's okay. But if you actually watch the Cowboys game, and I watch almost every NFL game that I can, their secondary play is terrible, especially on the back end in the safety position. There's been too many plays where, you know, Trevon Diggs expects help over the top, jumps a route, doesn't quite get there, and the safety late is late on the help. There's too many of those plays. You take a look at Anthony Brown on the other side as well. Same thing happening. He's expecting help over the top. It doesn't come. He's getting burned deep. So it's not like, Trayvon Diggs is just going, oh, I suck. It's just the simple fact of when he's expecting help, he's going for the big play. And he doesn't just happen to get these interceptions. He's sitting there watching game film. He's studying his opponent. He's making the right plays. He's reading the offense and seeing, hey, all right, 80% of the time when they're in this play I formation or whatever formation it may be, they're going to run a hitch route or a slant or whatever. I'm going to try to jump this route. It doesn't always work, but it's not like he's just magically accepting these picks that are coming right to him. He's making plays. He's going out and being a ball hawk. At the end of the day, he probably could be a lot better, play a little safer, but you're not going to get all those picks and make game-changing plays without being a little aggressive. And it just doesn't help that he doesn't have any help over the top, him nor Anthony Brown on the other side.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, obviously, Zach is a biased Alabama fan, but I agree with him here. I do agree with him here. I think Trayvon Diggs is a pretty damn good player. I think people need to lay off of him. With that said, I'll never go against Dallas hate because we all don't like the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, he said all facts there pretty much. Who cares if the Cowboys defense is not that good? It's being improved from last year, and I'll take it. Y'all just like being so. I'm not a sore loser, and I'll be honest with you, Hulk. I'll be honest with you.
Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender. How am I being a sore loser?
Yeah, I'm not being a sore loser either. All right, and this is what I said to this other guy at the bar the other day, and I swear I'm not making this up. Dallas Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender this year. They lay an egg last Sunday? Yeah, absolutely they did. But every team in the NFL lays an egg. It just happens. It's like our Super Bowl team against Seattle. We laid an egg. We looked horrible that game. Seattle stunk that year. We still won the Super Bowl. But, the Dallas Cowboys, I never really personally hated the Dallas Cowboys. Like, I've always hated the New York Giants because their fans are arrogant. They won 2 Super Bowls in the last 15 years, still relevant, whatever. The Dallas Cowboys haven't even been relevant. This is the first year that I actually think they have a Super Bowl contending team. In 26 years? That's like the first time ever I'm seeing them be a contender in my life of what I remember. So, maybe I'll hate the Dallas Cowboys somewhere down the road, but for right now, they play in Texas. They're in the NFCs. They play in Texas. Like, why are they even in the NFCs? It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
All right, let's go to a phone call.
All right, let's go.
Get you off your little rant there. Cowboys hate, no Cowboys hate. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's Carter from Orlando, Florida.
What's up, Carter?
What's up, Carter?
Nothing much. Guys, I have a really hot take for you here, and it might surprise you, but I'm sick of this dude. We need to trade Devonta Smith. I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of him. He's just the worst player on our offense. I'm done. I can't handle it. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback we've had in a decade plus. I can't do this anymore. We need to get him weapons. I'm sick of it. What do you guys think? Because I'm done. We need to sign Hurts to an extension before somebody else gets him because I can't do this. People think the quarterback's the problem. We've got guys like Devonta Smith running around playing receiver, and we've got guys like Jalen Reagor who might be blind in both eyes and deaf and whatever else. I'm sick of it. I can't handle this, guys. I am absolutely done. And it's time. I think we'd be better off having Fletcher Cox running routes at this point. My goodness, I'm done. Devonta Smith needs to be cut tomorrow. I'm done.
It's a great phone call. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. No, but seriously, I know that was definitely a call that went backwards. Yeah, I know your pain, dude. I truly know your pain because Devonta Smith is doing everything for this team, and Jalen Hurts being the worst quarterback I've ever seen in Eagles history, other than Mike McMahon, it's not helping things. It's just not helping things. It stinks. I want to see Devonta Smith with a great quarterback, not even a great quarterback, an average quarterback. And until then, he's going to be watered down, So I actually thought it was a funny call. A lot of people were going to say you weren't a good troll. I thought it was a funny call.
It was entertaining. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a dummy. I could pick up on sarcasm. So
I mean, that one was blatantly obvious, so maybe
Yeah.
he could have dialed it back a little bit, but overall, it was a decent troll job. I think he should have dialed it back a little bit, made it more realistic, but hey,
Yeah.
I'm for it. I'm for it.
See, here's the thing though. Some people would think he was being completely honest.
You know why? Because that's Eagles fandom for you. Because there's a reason that they're called Eagles fanatics. They're nuts.
Yeah, they are nuts.
You
But
know,
yeah,
in Kansas City, they have a what is it? A fucking poll going right now to bench Patrick Mahomes. So we're not the only crazy fans in here.
yeah, I mean Patrick Mahomes is playing like shit right now for whatever reason. But all right, guys, we have about 5 minutes left in the show. We're gonna try to get one more phone call in. But yeah, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up on subscribe to the channel, share it around to your friends and family. If you're on Facebook, click the like button. It definitely helps out the stream. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the content, and we really appreciate you guys interacting and your phone calls, of course. We would like to hear you guys' voices on the other side, obviously, because it just makes for better conversation. So we
All
want
right,
to thank you.
I'll say hello to the other side because we got a phone call.
All right, hello to the
I
other
like
side.
an eagle. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? Tony from Vegas.
What's up,
What's up?
Tony from Vegas?
I was thinking about, you guys remember back in 2013, we did a trip to Denver, and Peyton Manning just freaking carved us.
Hell yeah.
I think they put up 55 points, and it was the worst defense I've ever seen the Eagles play. You guys remember this?
Oh yeah, I remember I was at the gym, and honestly, I wasn't even watching the game anymore because it just wasn't a game. Yeah, I remember that. I was with Vic.
Oh, man. Yep. It sure was. They benched Vic.
Yep.
I just remember thinking during that whole game, it was like Denver either scored or they got like a 25-yard pass play to Demarius Thomas, Eric Decker, Wes Welker, you name it. And then he was just carving them up. Dude, it seriously was like watching someone you love slowly get every limb taken off their body. It was absolutely miserable. And Chip Kelly had no answers at all. I think they scored 55 points on us, and I can't remember a time in which the Eagles gave up 55 points. You guys remember this?
Yeah, I remember it. Yep, that was a good comparison. I loved one taking off every single limb. That was a good one.
It was just miserable, man. And it made me just like, holy shit. It was like we couldn't do anything. And it was agonizing to watch. And Chip Kelly was talking shit, and they just came in and whipped the absolute dog shit out of us. That, to me, I don't know if you guys will agree. I'm interested to hear your opinion. That was the best offense I've ever seen in my life, that 2013 Denver Broncos offense.
Yeah, but you know what they did in the end? They lost. So it doesn't matter. They lost to the Baltimore Ravens, actually.
That one and the Tom Brady-led offense were the two best that I've ever seen.
That was they lost to the Ravens the year before. They lost to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl the year they kicked the shit out of us.
Yep, 43-8. You're right.
Yeah, but that was easily the greatest offense I'd ever seen in my life. I think they still. What's crazy is that was almost 10 years ago. They still have all the records. Most passing yards in a season, most touchdowns in a season. And they had 4 receivers go over 1,000 yards. It was just, and to watch them do what they did, I think the Eagles had like 10 days to prepare, and the Broncos had like 6 because of some weird scheduling shit. And they just came in and kicked the dog shit out of us. And I don't know, man. That was just the greatest performance I've ever seen.
It was pretty hardcore. But yeah, thanks for the phone call.
But it epitomizes the Chip Kelly era. Like, it really did. Like, that was a team with a fucking amazing coach, amazing quarterback, and they just came in and walloped us and just bent us over. And we just were forced to watch for 4 quarters this team just pile drive us continuously. It was agonizing to watch.
That it was. I agree 100%. Oh, man, these calls are depressing today.
Man, last week we had phone calls about the Super Bowl. This week we're having phone calls about the worst performances ever. Next week, maybe we'll get something in the middle. Some good games.
He's like, I compare it to one of your loved ones getting every limb torn off their body.
Oh my God, that was great. All right, we got another phone call. Let's go to it. Fly Like an Eagle
Nick Pizza
podcast.
here. I just want to know why I should drop off your pizzas. I'm not sure. I can't quite find the house. Was it a road or was it a street? What exactly was it?
All right, so there's a house.
Look, you ordered about
and a
20
driveway
pizzas
and a car.
Coke.
Trying to figure out what movie this is from.
Too late.
Yeah, too late. All right.
You gotta be
See,
more.
Here at Fly Like an Eagle podcast, phone calls like that don't bother us. We actually go along with it.
You gotta be a little more entertaining than that, though.
Yeah, it's not really entertaining. It didn't stick. I mean, it was kind of boring to be honest with you, but at least you guys tried. Bird Gang 31. What's up, my guys? What's up, buddy?
What's up? I was just watching that commercial the other day. You remember that commercial, the Scream commercial?
What's up?
That was a great commercial.
No, the first game Dawkins came back and played against us was 2010, I believe. That was with Tebow when Tebow was on the team. And yeah, guys, we just hit an hour and a half mark, so this show is pretty much over. Unless you guys can rush in one more quick phone call, and we'll take it. This was a phenomenal show from top to bottom. So you guys make the show definitely what it is, and I really appreciate every single one of you coming on every single week. Like I said before, I was exhausted. I was contemplating not doing the show, but I'm always gonna do the show. I'm always down to do the show. But you guys make the show what it is. You guys really lift me up at the end of the day. Even when I'm having a bad day, I come on here and rant about sports, life, whatever it is. And, obviously this is an unfiltered fucking show. So you guys can come on here. You guys can do troll jobs on the phone. I don't give a shit. I'll entertain it. And, it's always fun.
You ready for a troll call?
Sure.
Fly Like an Eagle
I'm
podcast.
not messing with you, man. You better start talking.
I mean, that's what we're here for.
We're here for that.
Ask one more time. Where are the vaccines?
Vaccines?
Tony said he stashed 8 boxes of that Primo Moderno and AstraZeneca-ish in your basement yesterday.
That's so stupid.
So now, you answer me this. Between hours of midnight yesterday and right now, where they disappeared to?
All right, I'm over that one.
Yeah, I'm over that one. I was about to answer, but I was just over it.
Yeah.
I have a question for Zach. How did you become a Knicks fan if you're an Eagles fan?
So more likely, how did I become an Eagles fan if I'm a Knicks fan? Because I live in New York. So the reason I became an Eagles fan is because I went up to Syracuse and watched Donovan McNabb play at Syracuse. And then when he got drafted by the Eagles in 99, I became an Eagles fan. And before that, I was a Bills fan because all my buddies that I hung out with were Bills fans. So I just went along with them until I was old enough to realize, hey, I can pick my own motherfucking team, and decided to follow Donovan McNabb in 99. And guess what? Sticking with it.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, Knicks fans are crazy crackheads, and I'm not calling Zach a crackhead.
Whoa.
What I'm saying is, you watch all those post-game videos that Kickstart does to like fuck Boston, like they're all that. They're crazy, they're nut jobs. And it's funny because another sports outlet, after they beat us with our C team in the other night when we almost came back, they used that clip of the guy like shaking his chin and everything like that. Like, it was so funny.
All right, you think we got a real phone call now?
No.
Let's go with it.
All right.
Podcast. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I was just calling because I live down the street from you, and your daughter come to my house today, and she kicked my dog.
I've heard this one before.
Oh my God.
It's so bad.
Well, guess what? We just ended it.
Yeah. So
listen, If my daughter came to your house and kicked your dog, it's probably because your dog kicked her first.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if one of our late co-hosts were on the show and you kicked their dog, he'd probably send someone after you, but he ain't on here anymore.
You'd be sleeping with the fishes.
He'd be sleeping with the fishes.
Has Mr. Burrito ever called in?
No, I don't think so. Dank Burrito?
Mr. Burrito. I'm going to call him by his fancy name, Mr. Burrito.
Holy old internet dude. Yeah, that's like total E-Bombs world.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Dude, E-Bombs world stick death. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think I used to use the stupid one from Jack Black, the cock push-ups, I think it was.
Yeah, from Tenacious D.
Yeah. Cock push-ups. What are cock push-ups? When you lay on the ground and you let your cock push you up. Oh my fucking God. It brings me way back.
Yeah, you can't make movies like that anymore. I watched a really dumb comedy the other day. It was like the worst movie of all time. It was called Downhill. It was like a Will Ferrell movie. It was awful. Eagles fans since 5 laugh out loud back when Riley Coop trash Alex blah blah. Yeah.
James Thrash was the shit.
Yeah.
Pigston.
Ugh.
Oh man,
alligator arms.
Alligator arms. Fred X.
I met Fred X.
Did you?
Yeah, I met him at Xfinity Live. He's a good guy. He was really bad at football, but he's a good guy. Riley Cooper, he could have been all right, minus all of the racist shit.
He was a great special teams player.
Yeah. I mean, what really pissed me off against the Saints in 2013, the playoff game, he had a wide open field. He had the ball right in his hands and he dropped it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget that. That was brutal.
Who used to be my man? LJ Smith. I don't know why. I loved LJ Smith for some
Rutgers.
reason.
From Rutgers, man.
Loved some LJ Smith.
Yeah.
I had a thing for tight ends. I don't know why. Just every single Eagles tight end I've loved.
I want to thank my hands for being so great. Did you like Richard Rodgers?
Oh, I love Rich Rod.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I was disappointed he didn't make the 53.
Oh my God. Chad Lewis. Yeah, the guy that he caught it in the back of the end zone with a broken foot.
Yeah, I love Chad Lewis too. I told you, all the tight ends, for whatever reason, Eagles have always had pretty good pass catching tight ends.
Except for Dallas Goedert, because his fucking first name is Dallas. But with that said, guys, best Eagles tight end of all time, Selleck. I'm going Selleck. I think so. Like, I could say Ertz. It could be the decent answer. I'm going to go with Selleck because he blocked. He did something that Ertz didn't do, and that was block.
Selleck, because he's the blue-collared, Philadelphia, rugged, tugged kind of athlete that this city needed. That's why. We
won the Super Bowl with him, and then he said deuces. But with that said, guys, we are out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Click the thumbs up button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel. And bring your asses back here on Sunday for the post-game show. After, hopefully, we win on Sunday. I'm not going to count on it, but we're always here no matter what. And with that said, go Birds. Zach and I are out. And have a good Eagles day. Peace.